was actually in Tennessee.
Oh, now we're live.
We're live! We had some technical difficulties. Apparently, the internet is super busy today, but we're here. This is the Best Overall Show. I'm Noah. Say hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Yes. Kazra, how are you?
Fantastic. Good to be here. Happy
All right, Joe. Everyone. What's up? We start with hobby projects today?
Yeah.
All right. Flash the title screen and let's go.
Let's go. So for my hobby progress, I have actually been painting some scouts, but that's the last thing I showed last time anyway. So I got a new display cabinet. So I used to have the old IKEA, like individual single ones that everyone had for a minute that were quite heinous looking.
The detail.
The detail. That's the one. So I got this one. This is also IKEA, but it's newer one. It takes up way less space. It's way more sturdy. I'm looking into dust proofing it, and it actually holds everything that I need. You can apparently there's tutorials on how to use weather stripping on the inside panels where
that's like living in a spaceship.
Yeah, I want my space marines in a spaceship, so I don't have to worry about them getting dusty.
You need to paint. You need to put a mural of the ship, battle barge.
Oh, and here's the cool thing: that backing is metal, and so I was thinking about getting like a magnetic backdrop that I could switch up for each shelf. So
that's cool.
That just tickles my brain, and there's lights in it too, which is cool. So we had a junk week in my apartment building this past week, so we got rid of a ton of crap, and then went to IKEA and bought a ton of new crap. So
what is the name of this case?
The Radsta or something like that.
Is it also IKEA?
It's also IKEA. Yeah.
The Herskadursh.
I love the IKEA names for stuff.
Yeah, like Grandalf or some shit. I don't know.
I can't not do like the Swedish chef
accent
interpretation whenever.
The Swedish chef. That is. It's a time gone by. But yeah, so this was my hobby progress.
What's this dog picture on top?
That is a painting and then a couple stylized photos of my boy Reggie. He's a good boy.
All right.
Yeah. There it is in all its lit glory.
I love it how Rabute is perfectly eclipsed by the clasp.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we get the doors open when we take the picture next time?
True. Next time. See, so Shaz is the smarter one of the two of us, and whenever she takes photos,
Can't confirm.
Much better. Yeah, sure. Noah's had a weekend at the World Champs with her, and can confirm. But
I love her so much.
Are these all your baby Marines on the bottom shelf here? Just
so that's my
living in the basement.
That's my Legends shelf, or probably soon to be Legends shelf. There's like Devastators down there too. So if I continue painting up what's in the closet over there, there will not be room for the Legends shelf. That'll have to go into storage. So that's I have a system.
All right. Noah, what do we got here?
Yeah. So for those who know me, know that I do have a certain amount of nostalgia for like the old school hyper-saturated 80s cartoon. If you've ever seen my Dino Towel, you know that I basically like vomited the 80s cartoon Dino Riders all over that army. And so I painted orcs back in COVID because I wanted to learn how to batch paint. And I was like, orcs would be great. And so I did a horde orc army. And now orcs are good, and they're really like I've always really liked orcs thematically. I'm a big mech at heart, right? And so I'm playing orcs right now and in singles, and so I wanted to paint up some vehicles out of battle wagon and a truck. This is actually a truck. I actually took a battle wagon, cut it all the way down so it's the right dimensions of a truck, trimmed off all the armor sides, took off the tracks, and then took a bunch of the wheels from the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler trailer and gave it wheels. So it's got 3 wheels on one side and 2 on the other. So it's like orky as crap.
Nice.
And then I painted it up in all my orcs pants are pink. So I painted it up in like this pink. That's the Warlord pink that we all love.
Yeah.
And then did the angry, happy face murals on the front. of my vehicles. They look like they're really excited.
That does look straight out of the Ninja Turtles arcade game.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what 100% what it's supposed to do.
What is giving me a stroke is the open bottle of super glue lying on its side, but
yeah. I was in my creative frenzy.
But no, that mouth is like that freehand is fantastic, my friend.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It was a lot of fun. Lots of layers to get the shade and stuff right, and the tongue, and lots of fun. And then I did this thing. I didn't know if it was going to work, but I did this weird line lighting to make it look like the top was eyes. You know, like the red and white to like actually look like their eyes. But like when I was starting, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work.
Okay.
Oh, this truck looks a lot different and better than this now too. I need to take more recent pictures, but like I took the quad container. So like the two vehicles are based on the LVS and the 7-ton, which are both trucks I drove in the military. But it just so happens that when you trim down a battle wagon kit and then you take the cargo weight hauler kit, these actually look a lot like the 7-ton and LVS from the Marine Corps. So that was pretty cool. So this has like a big like quad con ISO container on the back. And what I did is you can't see very well because it's kind of like faded out with the light. But I took real like on the wall graffiti spray paint and I just like held it down just a little bit so it sprayed speckles all over to get all these different colors. And then I went through and drew on it in white. And then I went back and filled in all the spaces with all the like holes and letters with colors, like different colors, red, blue, green, white, red, whatever, right? Purple. And then I went over it, highlighted it in white again, and then put neon glow orange around the outside of all the letters. So it looks like literally like an 80s like bebop like party bus. And it says like this side up and the boys is the best, and on the other side it says wah wagon in like graffiti.
Nice.
That's the side of the truck.
What is the thing that's on top?
Oh, that's just like a piece from the Caradon things. I needed something to be like represent like the wrecking ball, and I didn't have like chain stuff, so it's almost like just like a Big Mac Zappy ball is on top. That's the plan.
Yeah,
like those plasma balls.
Yeah, and then I did the white wall tires. There's the face for the other one. I had gone further. I went and like put light on the actual lights now, and they're much further along than these pictures were. But so he's got like the missile pod that says Lava. That's his one Popeye, And then nice. I did the rock grinder from GSE and painted it up like a mouth.
Yeah, this screams Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, 100%.
This is like so cool.
This is just Ninja Turtles all day. Yeah.
I was obsessed with Ninja Turtles as a kid.
And then I repurposed my messy room, but I repurposed my my Necron board to be and I actually got to flip around, but my Necron board to be the Orc board. So you can see there's Mega Knobs fighting Wraiths. Some of them fell down in the Wraiths in the right corner. The Commandos are flamethrowing the saving Private Zarek in the back. There's a boss underneath that centipede who's actively like fighting that centipede off. And then the cannon from the battle wagon is blowing a hole through that Necron monolith.
Are you able to go back and reuse this as your night board, or is it?
Yeah, I didn't change anything. I literally so none of the pieces are all like either magneted on or a couple are glued, but basically I just take everything off and then I put it back on, and then everything is positionable so that they can be positioned back with the knights. So it can be used for either. It just, I wanted to be orcs, so now it's orcs. I made sure to make the battle wagon has had an articulatable cannon that had a hole in it. So slid the shaft right into it, and then I'm taking this little camera stand as my prop up because it can't support the weight of that metal bar by itself. The battle wagon, so it looks like it's blasting the fucking night scythe away, and the board is big enough that it fits all 150 whatever work models that I'm taking.
Wow,
wild.
Yeah, because it's we'll get to the list, but it's like 110 boys, 10 commandos, 11 grots, 5 storm boys, 6 characters, 2 vehicles, 5 mega knobs.
That's a lot of green stuff.
Yeah, dude, it's cool, and they're all pink pants, which is like great. It's funny how different. Like I put a lot of love and effort into the characters. They're all conversions basically, other than the mega boss, and they're all like really lovingly painted with like multi layers of highlight and whatever. But like the boys are all like tabletop plus, just all the way across.
Nice.
Metal weapons,
Anything
pink
more
pants,
than
green.
that, you'd be insane. Like, but
Yeah.
I like that they have hot pants.
They do. They all have the.
I want to play who wears short shorts, like as your display trace on.
You'll appreciate this. The only squad that isn't wearing pink is the. Oh, there's 2 squads. One is commandos wear purple. Absolutely. Thank you. I've been delivered a soda.
Love it.
All right.
Oh,
Hi, fam.
Bye-bye.
Is the commandos who are in purple, highlighted with a little bit of pink, but purple makes them sneaky. And the Storm Boys, because I have the old school metal Storm Boys that look like
no.
they're wearing the World War I German outfits, basically.
Yeah. Do they fall over constantly?
I waited the bases and not now.
Oh, okay.
So I painted them all. They're all wearing khaki. Like they're all wearing like khaki outfits. And then all their other colors match. So those guys are in khaki because my thought was like, we're not going to be slowed down by pink. I don't know. And then the commandos are in purple. And then even like the grots are all wearing like pink short shorts because it's all like the shirtless grots with the little loincloths.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is the army ready at this point?
Yeah. It's better than tabletop across the board. It's ready to go. It's literally sitting like just in that state currently on my table, and I'm about to go clean up the mess around it after this and pack it into a big ass case and throw it in the truck because tomorrow I have to drive 6 hours to Spokane.
I really
Dang.
respect your like rule of no painting the day that you like the day before.
Yeah, I did my last touch of paint Wednesday morning, and I took it to played 2 practice games yesterday, and then I told myself the only thing I would do is I might change a couple of the base rim colors because all my base rims are coated, and I realized that some of my character rims don't actually match the squad bases that they would go with normally, and then it makes confusion because they match a different squad. So I'm going
I think
to.
that's a fair.
So I'm
that's
going to
a
do
fair
that.
Exception.
Yeah, I'm going to do that, but no required painting for sure.
Nice.
And are you all set, Cass?
I am painting 3 more scout heads, and then I am done and ready.
Oh, nice. You gonna get that done tonight, or is that on the
That
docket for
is
tomorrow?
the second that we're done this, I am doing that. I'm varnishing some shit and putting down my pigments on the basing, and then I'm done. And I'll pack up tomorrow because I use like the Vallejo, or I don't remember the brand, Vallejo or AK pigment powders for my basing, but I varnish them all and all that. But I like to let it set before I put them in my case because if I don't, I end up with all this loose pigment in my
Right.
travel case. It's a real mess to clean up, and I've got gray pigment on my like really cool ultramarines objective markers before, so I've learned that lesson the hard way. So they'll have a little break, and then I'll do my work day tomorrow, get a haircut, and then pack my stuff up and hit the road.
Get a haircut?
Yeah, I know. I don't have a lot.
I just razor mine down.
Yeah.
My barber lives in my building though, so it's
okay.
it's pretty convenient. But
My barber is a regular at my game store, so it also works out for me.
it's pretty good. But yeah,
one thing
my
I wanna-
drive is an hour longer than Noah's, but
Dude, why didn't we? Are you bringing the lady folk?
no, not this time around.
You're going on your own by yourself?
Liam is coming with me.
Oh, I'm about to say we could have coordinated and all gone together.
We could have and should have. Next time, because I do love Bob's events. So
For sure. One thing I didn't mention in this thing, I wish I had a picture of it, is I converted the AOS Black Orc Forge Master to one of my pain boys. He's my orcish dentist. So he's this giant burly orc with a giant pair of pliers in one hand. He's got the force on pair of pliers and a knife in the other hand, like a scalpel, and he's just like a giant. So he's my orc dentist.
Most important question: what did you do with the little anvil squig?
I haven't used him yet, but probably going to use him as a bomb squig or an attack squid for another unit later.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I collect them. I also have like the Christmas squigs and shit. I have all my squigs set aside. Like, yes, I love taking my bomb squig. But the best model in the Commandos box is by far the Distraction Grot.
Oh, the little ninja guy.
Mine's got a grappling hook, a scuba goggles, a snorkel, a backpack with a pair of flippers on it and grenades, and a big loop of rope, and he's just running.
So
nice.
ridiculous.
Oh, and then the last hobby thing I'll say about the orcs, I think you'll really appreciate this. All of my like bosses, the commandos, and leader characters, other than the two docs, because the docs are kind of different models, have red shoes. And I paint because red makes them go faster.
Right.
But the funny thing is I painted those shoes red Tuesday night. And Wednesday, I couldn't roll less than an 11 on my charges.
Oh, wow.
I was just
It
like,
worked.
oh.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. Orc players are the scariest when they believe.
Yeah, for sure.
When
It's
they
been a lot of fun.
believe, it's unstoppable.
All right. So I'm going to talk about story. Oh, and then this is like another art thing. This isn't necessarily a hobby, but we had the Northern Lights. And so we went out and did some like amateur photography, and I did a bunch of like extra exposure on my pictures and was able to capture. You can see almost this with the naked eye, but I was able to capture it in like really good colors with exposure. So it was super fun.
Yeah.
I thought you just I thought you sent me this picture by accident.
No. I do other creative things other than a hobby. So
All right.
like one of them is pictures, one of them is painting. I mean, like one of them is colored pencil.
Nice.
I just like doing creative stuff.
Joe, what about you? What have you been working on?
Boom.
Oh,
Time to get castigated,
man.
buddy.
Oh my gosh.
God damn it, Joe. I love that.
That's why I banged these out in the last 2 weeks. Just working my fingers to the bone.
They look so good, bro.
Yeah, that's crispy. I like that.
That's the best Predator like tank I have ever seen.
I really like this model. This model is fantastic.
It's like it's a better version of the Predator.
100%.
Agreed.
Yeah. So
So good, dude. Look at that.
Charlie's
Oh my
Angels are
god.
good.
You did so
Sexy.
good, bro. The pink.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and like the OSL from the lights.
Oh, yeah.
Is like restrained enough because you get a lot of people who like overshoot it and overdo it.
Yep.
But this is perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
And you did all the bits. You didn't every now and then people like omit specific bits because it's just like extra work. You did every tiny you even did the little 3-pronged smoke projectors.
Yeah.
Everything.
I didn't put the little like cargo boxes that go on the side of the turret. I thought it made it look too clunky, but
Well, that was a choice.
Yeah. So yeah.
Dude, the trim is beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it was quite the grind. So but they are worth it. So
And I like that you did I like anytime anyone does like the muzzle burn, I always love it.
yeah. Yeah, these battle cannons slap pretty good. I don't know why they have ignores cover for some reason, but they do.
Dude, they are really good. The Cascader's a sister piece that has always impressed me. I like when I first played against, I didn't really take it seriously, and then it just lets loose. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to kill that. That needs to go away. Yeah, absolutely. I need to kill that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did this as a little commission for one of my friends for his knight army. So this is going to be Canis Rex's.
Yeah, I'm about to
arm.
say, I wonder whose gun that is.
And
I've been
then
shot by that gun before.
yeah, and then an armature for him as well. And I still have to do 2 more armatures by next week. So
Beast mode active.
Oh, they're sick.
yeah,
That was really good. Is Chaos or Imperial?
he's going Imperial.
Brave man.
Yeah, he's done surprisingly well with them. Like we've gone to a couple RTTs.
They're not terrible, and they all are a very powerful stat check army, and
Mhm.
their big knights do really good. And Canis is just a fucking house.
Yes. So that's what I've been working on. I still got these 2 other armigers, probably like 5 cherubs, and I got to paint Kygonel.
Ooh, that's a cool piece. Did
Yeah.
like you had to paint them both, or just you only have Kaigenel left?
I just have Kygonel left.
What's Kygonel?
It's the elf.
He's the Harlequin that follows Stern around.
Yes.
And he's got this really cool like checkered like energy thing kind of around him that's like just begging to be like airbrushed in a very specific way.
Exactly. All right.
Oh my lord. Here we go.
So what's going on here?
So I think Cash, you should tell us about Storm. I've only ever been to one Storm, which I'll probably tell that story here in a minute. But you have been to more of Bob Kelly's events than I have. So why don't you give us the primer on what it says here, and also what we should know about like the spiritual legacy of the Bob Kelly events.
Absolutely. So if you don't know Bob, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding.
Grand old man of Warhammer.
Bob Kelly is an absolute just legend. The guy is a phenomenal painter, sweetest guy you'll meet, and is very much passionate. He owns a store out in Spokane, and he puts on a mean event. So he's got 2 events per year. One is the Storm of Silence, which is the more competitive event, and then the other is Harvester of Souls, which is the more thematic hobby sort of narrative event, if you will. Although it's not a narrative, but like it's spiritually different. The thing I love about Bob's events is the people that come out. So you get a really interesting sort of mix of folks from British Columbia, on the Canadian side of the border. So I know that, Alex McDougall and friends from the interior come out. I usually roll out with some level of Vancouver contingent. But then you get all of these lovely folks from different pockets of Washington State. So, you get a good mix of folks, and actually a few folks from Idaho on the other side of the border. So it's a good mix of really strong players. Like I would say, a lot of the time, the best of our Pacific Northwest meta does come to Storm. Great event. It's been growing. I think this will be my 3rd Storm that I've gone to. And I've only been really playing competitive Warhammer for 3 years, so there we go. My favorite thing about it, outside of the people, outside of just Bob himself, who is a lovely person, is I think it's no offense, Noah, I know I paint judged for you on your rubric, my favorite painting rubric that I have ever seen.
Whoa.
And here's why.
Shots fired.
No. And hey, I judged using Noah's rubric and I loved it. But this is what I love about Bob's. You both philosophically like just went one way or another. And I don't know if he's changed it, to be fair. But Noah's idea with his rubric was I want it to be really hard to get a perfect score. And it did make it very like objectively easy when we kind of figured out, okay, there's one perfect score. We knew who was winning, best painted, etc. The thing I like about Bob's is there are multiple paths to maxing out your score. And what that means is that, like for me, I've got some level of conversions in my army, but I'm playing Ultramarines. Like it's kind of what's in the box is my army, right? So instead of converting, I spend a lot of time painting to a ridiculous degree. A lot of rubrics, like the FLG rubric, really hamstrings me. I will often not even make it into the display, right?
Really?
Yeah, it's very like you have to have conversions to move forward.
And you see things like conversions for the sake of conversions that aren't even nice, but they score higher on the rubric. So I philosophically disagree with that. No shade to anyone who like plays the rubric well, Like, I have a lot of friends that do really well in those rubrics. More power to them. But Bob's event is like one of the events that I'm not penalized for, like, not just converting for the sake of conversion. And I'm still able to max it out because I go hard in the paint, quite literally, with certain things. So it gives me a shot. And actually, last year I did win best overall at Storm. So there was not a golden ticket for best overall last year, just for best general. And I almost had that. I ended up in the final round. I was playing Marshall Reeves, who is a good friend of mine, who did win out over me. It was a great run, great game, and he got his golden ticket. I got my golden ticket like a few weeks after last Storm, so this time I'm going in with it, which is nice. So the stakes are lower for me, but it's an absolutely wonderful tournament. 120 players, so one of the bigger ones we get that isn't a G-Dub or a Cascade Clash, which I don't get to play in because I'm on the I'm on the staff. So yeah, that's my pitch for Storm.
I really appreciate that about the painting rubric, because I feel like my sisters and my Eldar army, I don't like converting them because I feel like the models are fantastic as they are, and I don't know, but like orcs obviously lend themselves to being converted a lot.
Absolutely.
Chaos, Drukhari. So yeah, I really appreciate the aesthetic of the couple armies, and I don't like altering what's there. So
yeah, and I think a conversion is awesome if you have like a great idea, you execute it well. I mean, Noah is like the king of awesome conversions that are not done just for the sake of saying I'm checking a box in a rubric. But you know, there are armies where that doesn't make sense with, and yeah, it's nice. It's just nice to have that option to be able to, like, you know, put in a little extra work around basing and put a little extra work around OSL and all those other things to just kind of shore up your score.
Yeah. All right, Cass. What's going on here? Post data slate.
So I had to laugh because, like, this is my BFS teams list.
Where can we hear about that list?
Well, you can hear about it on part 1 and part 2 of the last Art of War episode from last week, I think, or maybe the week before. Life's been going fast, but yeah, I get pretty in depth with it. But it was interesting because, like, my list was different than this, and it would have been nerfed with the slate. But my good friend Jack Harpster gave me a call, like, well past when we agreed that I was getting Agents of the Imperium. And he told me he wanted one last trip to Flavortown. So he wanted to take Draxus with his pre-Codex Custodes. And have you ever seen Jack's face? It's hard to say no to those puppy eyes. So I relented. I gave him the agents, and I made this list. I think part of it is, like, this is kind of what I had mostly painted. If I were living in a perfect world, one of those plasma Inceptor squads would be 2x3 bolters, but I didn't have time to paint the extra 3 Inceptors, and, like, I didn't want to commit to that with list lock. So yeah, this is what I'm running. It's what I've been running. It's nothing new. I think I still have, you know, most of the tools to deal with stuff. I lost a game against Sam Pope's Unending Swarm Tyranids at the team tournament, but I think that particular build is very rare. Like, Sam's literally the first person I've seen running it to that level, and B, has specific tools that ruin my one tool, which is really the blast on the Centurion missiles. Because they have a strat that says no blast, like, oops, sorry,
weird.
Yeah, so that was like, I'll just go fuck myself then. So, you know, against other Horde armies that we're going to be seeing, like Green Tide, I think that's kind of my hope. I'm going to have to play a bit differently, but that's what I like about this list. It's like, it's this weird list of tools, and I never feel like, from the outset, like, I lost in the list phase, you know? So It's what I know. Life has been really busy. Work has been really busy and demanding a lot of my focus too. So I haven't gotten a single game in since BFS. So this will be.
Whoa.
Well, I don't want to like curse this. I want to play you again so bad. like not necessarily, it doesn't have to be at the event. Like just in general. But like I want to play so bad.
And we will, and we can. I'll play you any day, man. Yeah, I would like to. I'd like to face you too. Let's see. You know, it can happen. It's 120 people, but you know, it's happened before. Noah, it'll happen again.
The cream of the crop will rise to the top.
There is a kind of like there is definitely a who's who list of people who are going. Linton Rowan is bringing Wolf Jail. He's been doing very well with that list.
And Wolf Jail in general has been doing really well.
Oh, it's very good
in the meta. So
Triple Vindicator is a hell of a drug, bro. Vindicator's got so good out of nowhere.
So good. No one was ready for that.
Yeah, no one's like Vindicators. And then obviously we have the Lord Hivemind GSC master of himself coming, Mr. McDougal, and then Kazra. JT McDowell's bringing the Drakari, from what I understand. Dan Miner's a great player, and he's bringing Votan. Votan's not a joke. Matt Evans is coming, right? He's coming, and he's bringing Tyranid, I think. Lists are so locked, so we can't actually see.
Yeah, it would have been fun if they weren't. We could have talked about some of the sauce, but
yeah. And then Chuck Arnett's bringing. He's got to take his orcs off the shelf, which is really excited about. He's bringing a Dread Mob list with a Stompa, which I'm He was like, "Do I want to go and like really play try hard, or do I want to go and play something that is good, probably can win some games, and it's fun as hell?"
I absolutely love Chuck.
Dude, he wired a squig into the top of the Stompa. He's like one of the big big giant squigs from AOS, and he wired it into the top. So it's like piloting the Stompa.
So cool.
Wow.
I would love to play Chuck. It's been a minute. And actually, the first and only time I did play Chuck was at Storm, like 2 years ago.
Steve Trimble's going. I heard rumor he might be playing Blood Angels, but we'll see.
That would suit him.
Yeah, I mean it tracks. And then I'm bringing 3 teammates. Nick Valajas is bringing Black Templar Gladius with 3 squads of Sword Brethren, a Land Raider Redeemer, Helbrecht and the boys, a Judiciar, captain with all the gear. It's pretty good. Really good list. A couple of Vindicators in that one too. We've got a World Eaters player coming, bringing the normal World Eaters list, not the Mauler Fiends. And then we've got
Mauler Fiends.
Yeah, there is a World Eaters list that's really good that runs 3 Mauler Fiends.
Wow.
They
get cheaper or something?
It went undefeated at Cascade Clash, and it went down in points as far as I understand.
Wow.
So like, yeah.
Dang. That's cool.
Matt is coming with his Necrons. I believe.
Oh yeah, Liam.
I think he's still doing Hypercrypt. I know he's doing some like team stuff that he was testing out.
Yeah, I also know he specifically. I was joking. I don't think I was talking to you guys. We were joking that like, there's a couple people who are bringing like there's a bunch of people who know I'm bringing Green Tide because they're in like the Stat Check Discord as we've been talking about the rules, and I've been talking to a few of those people, and then their lists suddenly just include very specific Green Tide elements that were not in any of their previous lists. And as far as I know, I'm one of either the only or one of like 2 people bringing Green Tide. And I'm like, does this mean that like I represent like a third of some people's lists now? Just this is the Noah tech.
I mean, that's fair. Because like let's talk about this real quick. Just with orcs being what they are, and I really like how the orc book has like put forward some seriously good options.
Hey, cooler.
On how you want to go, but like for you crazy crazy mofos that have 120 boys painted up and ready to go.
I'm only running
It's
100.
a great. Well, okay, you know what I mean. Like, you have a ton of boys ready to go. Not everyone does, and so like, when I was looking at it, I thought, okay, I have some tools to deal with this. I don't think I'm like dead out the gates. I'm not optimized for it, but what I am
Lots of
optimized
Inceptors
for,
and the Sense will do a pretty good job.
for sure. But like, you know who that's better against? Bully boys.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. So I'm banking on there being more folks that
Oh yeah.
willing and able
Bully
to
boys are rocking like a 64% win rate right now, and are like,
Wow.
they're the easier orc list to build. They're the easier orc list to pilot.
There's a reason I bought the Codex for an army I have no intention of playing.
Whoa.
They're a really easy army to build and to pilot to a basic level. Obviously, melee armies have a very high skill ceiling.
Totally.
Right? But you're like running the biggest, chunkiest things you can, and most of them have 4-up Feel No Pains for 2 turns. Like, sure, but the thing is, you know what is very similar to that? A Wraith Squad. And you know what everyone is teched into killing? Wraith Squads.
Yeah.
So
we've
like,
all got our canoptic PTSD.
So my worry is that like with Bully Boys is that it's going to meet a plateau because like people are just now they can optimize against like, oh, I'm going to optimize against Bully Boys and Hypercrypt and Canoptech, and I'm feeling pretty good about it.
And that's where I think the edge goes to Green Tide, but then like it swings the pendulum of what people have to prepare for to like more hoardy type nonsense. So
I was really worried about the Drakari match, and then I played it, and it took 1,500 points of shooting to kill 20 boys, and then I wasn't worried about the shooting.
And
the
boys can actually kill Drakari if they touch them.
They kill Drakari vehicles.
Oh, so easily.
Drakari anything is in trouble. So.
We've coined the phrase lately. I was like, well, it dies to 80 boys, and then my friend, or to 20 boys, and my friend's like, that's 80 attacks, potentially rerolling wounds. Everything dies to 20 boys.
Yeah, you roll enough dice, and things will die.
It's a very large. You know how we talk how like an average is over a very long sample set.
It's a very long.
I've just played the sample set.
Yeah, there you go. That's the way to do it.
Eventually, my dice will roll average because I roll enough of them. Cool.
So,
what are you most worried about, Cass?
I mean, like, I haven't played the orc matchup yet, so I would say just my unfamiliarity with it. But I've been doing reading. I can extrapolate, and like, generally speaking, I think Green Tide is probably going to be my toughest match. I've also been traumatized by my friend Sam Pope with his Tyranid Unending Storm. So if anyone for some reason shows up with that, I'm gonna have like BFS flashbacks.
How's your sister's matchup?
Sisters, I'm okay at, because ultimately I have so much mobility. And the Inceptors and the Centurions are quite good at killing the Electro Priests or whatever. What are those dudes called? The tar pits that sisters run.
Arco-flagellants.
Arco-flagellants. Those things are.
So like I have the firepower to deal with them, and I have the ability to pick where I'm kind of like picking my battles. So as long as I don't get rushed off the board. I'm usually pretty good in that matchup, and if they try to rush me off the board and like fail to like connect, then that's a quick game. So
I'm also like pretty concerned about sisters and the Death Guard matchup.
I was gonna say I feel like I have a pretty good game into Green Tide. I feel like I'm set up pretty well with it for it.
The thing that just like the reason like Green Tide is like one of those things that like even if you have a good matchup, sometimes I just reroll ones on my saves and spike a bunch of 5-up invols and you don't do anything. I was playing against Nick and like I think I told you guys earlier, he put 14 wounds on a squad and I lost 3 models and they're like just his head exploded.
Yeah, I do like to remind people we play a dice game and dice can be fickle.
Also, the whole army's T5 are better, right? So like, just like incremental bolter fire doesn't do as good.
Well, I mean, especially with Green Tide, like on the right unit, you're like, cool. I use like the strat to blood surge at you.
Though Castigators are terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. And pretty.
I was gonna say, what if those bolters were heavy bolters?
Yeah, that's actually really good because I run Pain Boys, and Pain Boys just kind of giggle at single damage, but double damage is like, stop it.
Yeah, I think yours is one of the few lists where I'm like, cool, I never have to worry about overcharging my Inceptors. Let's just go. Two damage is plenty damage.
You only have to overcharge if you're shooting at a Pain Boy squad.
Yeah, and I don't have to.
No.
Damage versus 3 is not that much of a difference.
It's their base 2?
Base 2.
Oh, then you never have to overcharge ever.
Nope. And like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I often will just kill half the 6-man unit myself, like if I'm rolling 3 1s. So it's worth it in some cases, but against boys, like against bully boys, you better believe.
Absolutely, just dead all day.
And I'll kill half my unit for your entire unit. That's fine.
Do you just against the orc matchup? Do you just start the Inceptors on the table?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And the fun thing about that is if I end up going second, I can pick them up and be like, 3 inches. You didn't think about that, did you? So watch out. Look at you, Demo.
So depend on what deployment zone. The likelihood that you will have anywhere to deploy that you couldn't deploy anywhere already.
Well, I'm just saying.
No, it's really
reason why they're starting on the table, though.
No, they're really good.
I honestly think in that matchup, like the 3-man Eradicator squads might be the only thing that goes in reserve as like a.
Dude, those 3-man Eradicator squads are actually really good against bully boys.
Yes,
you're like super tech into bully boys.
Yes,
because
100%.
Especially if you could move block and slow the wah turns down. When the wah wears off, they're 2-up armor with no invul and no feel no pain. Let's go.
And like the thing with my army is I can afford to just kind of not play the game for 2 turns. That's fine. Like you want score your primary. It's all yours. The table is yours. I'll be on the outskirts. You might eat a couple units of scouts or infiltrators or whatever I'm throwing to speed bump you. But but like I can come back from that as long as I have enough toys left on the table. So yeah. What are
I wanted to ask before we go any further, what is the terrain format of this tournament?
I think it's GW layouts, but it's but it's not GW standard terrain. It's like GW layouts with like some of Dan Miner's terrain and then a bunch of rando terrain kits that people built. That Bob Kelly built. It's really beautiful stuff, but I saw some of the stuff and it's like kind of hit or miss what how conforming it is to traditional tournament practices.
Okay.
So I think you'll have some tables that are like really just like, this is a standard like Dan Miner table.
Yeah,
and then you're gonna have some tables that are like
Dan Miner tables.
Some tables you're gonna be like, what is this? Very cool. It'll be beautiful though. It'll be fun to play.
Yes, it will be.
All right.
I had to before we go. I had I think it was the first storm that I was talking to Bob about terrain, and he's like, I have so much gorgeous thematic narrative terrain that's so cool. But you tournament players all just want your standardized nonsense. It's like, yeah, sorry. He does do 30K stuff though, and I think they get to play on the more pretty terrain. Anyways.
So this is the Surfs Up Green Tide list.
2,000 on the nose, bonus points.
On the nose. So this is 2 pain boys. They give the squad 5 a feel no pain. They also have they can randomly spike mortals into infantry, and they can heal D3 guys back once per game, which synergizes really well with Green Tide, which we'll cover that generally here in a sec. The War Boss with Ferocious Show Off, which is +1 strength if you're in a squad, and +3 strength if you're in a squad of 10 or more.
Nice.
Which means during the WA turn, his claw is strength 14, which is really fun. Yeah.
What's the AP
a good
on
number.
this claw?
2.
Not bad.
So it's just like, I mean,
you get 9 attacks with it too, which is
9 attacks hitting on 2s because of the +1.
And wounding on 2s.
And wounding on 2s. Just, right? And then I have a regular war boss. They both have attack squigs, whatever, claws. The other one's just a regular war boss to go punch stuff. Then a war boss in mega armor. He's got Raucous Warcaller, which makes his squad always count as 10 models, which I'll get to why that's important in a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then a Weird Boy with Bloodthirsty Belligerence, which is he rerolls advances, but if he's in a squad of 10 or more, he also rerolls charges. And because he has the jump, which lets me roll a die, and if I get a 2 or better, I warp off the table, and I can do it out of combat. And then I can come out 9 inches away and charge.
And is this this is the detachment that has to add the round number to the charge roll, right?
You're right. So
seems good.
So real quick, I'll talk about the synergies, and I'll talk about the reason the characters are like they are is because it synergizes very well with. You'll notice that in the battle line, I have like 6 squads of boys. I have 5 squads of 20, 1 squad of 10. Because the Green Tide detachment is essentially has 2 rules in the detachment rule. One is boys units, specifically only the battle line boys, get a 5-up invul all the time. And then all units that are 10 or more models re-roll 1s to save. So it makes them really resilient. Now, all the stratagems, which are amazing suite of stratagems, there's 5 good ones. All the stratagems are locked to the boys' datasheet. So the entire army, all of its tricks, is locked to the boys' datasheet, other than one. The enhancements are all locked to infantry characters. So there's one way to get some benefit to the Meganops, which we'll cover here in a second. The strats in my detachment, which are synergize really well with all the things it chose, is I have a strat for plus to my charge roll equal to the battle route. I have a strat for reroll 1s to wound or reroll all wounds if I'm 10 or more models. I have a strat for a blood surge move of D6 inches or 6 inches if I have 10 models or more left after the shooting.
Now, the one caveat with that one is you have to actually use that strat before.
When they shoot. Yeah, exactly. Which is a little rough, but it's still very good.
Still good.
I have a wait. What? How is that?
So you declare to shoot me.
Yeah.
And then I use the strat, and then if I have casualties, I get the blood surge.
Oh, so if you don't get hurt, you don't move.
Right.
I see.
So
now is the check for if you're 10 or over? Does that happen at the end? Like if I kill 11 of your guys,
it happened after the shooting.
So then you'll move D6, not 6.
I have a question I can't remember. Can you still opt to take your armor save, or do you have to take your invul save?
You could take your armor save.
All right, then it's great because you'll just if they shoot you with anything AP1 or better, you'll just opt it into a boy and then take all your invul saves on the rest of them.
Hundo P. Yeah. Kill the first guy. Or no, better yet. You reserve 1 dice, you put it aside, and you say, I'm going to roll the invuls on all of these, and then you roll them. And if by some fluke no one's died, then you take that last one on there.
Oh yeah, that's better.
That's awesome.
And then
I just imagine a single boy going out, get some.
It's like Lord of the Rings, the Battle for Helm's Deep. That one orc that just got shanked with the arrow. And then it's on. Blood surge. Let's go.
And then the last strat is my unit can swing on anything their unit is engaged with that the model is within 3 inches of. So I can't swing on units that I don't actually. If I have a model 3 inches away engaged with a unit, I can swing on any model that is within 3 inches of any of my models that is part of a unit I am engaged with, which is really amazing when you're bypassing 1.1 inch away on the walls. So you charge to the second floor of a ruin, which gets you coherency down, and charging to the second floor is really easy because you spend 1 CP for +2 to your charge on turn 2. So you go up the wall, and then everybody kind of clusters around the wall but can't swing. But then you spend a CP, and now they can the whole 20 man swings into what was hiding on the other side of the wall.
Damn, man.
Yeah,
that is
sick. It's sick. And then the last strat isn't very good. unless you pick 2 units and count them as being 10. This is only really good if you're. It's really only good if you're trying to queue specific things like, and you have to do it in the command phase. It's not very good. It's only really good if you're like, I need this 9-man to get reroll wounds to like get this thing. It's very situational if you'd ever use it. Yeah. So that's the like everything to the battle line, and then I have 1 battle wagon to carry 20 boys, and then I have a truck to carry the Mega Knobs. Then I have 5 Mega Knobs, a squad of 11 models for Gretchen, squad of commandos, which are, you have to take them as the kill team box. So like they have like, a battering ram, a flamethrower, a rocket launcher, distraction grot for a 5-up invulnerable once per game.
Wait, you can just give them all choppas though instead, right?
Right, but why would I when I have all this cool shit?
More attacks. Chop.
I mean, they're mostly choppas, except the flamer and rocket were really good to take, I thought. The distraction grot, obviously, and whatever doesn't take away from anything. But the battering ram is an AP1.
Yes.
Claw.
Yeah. Oh, it's AP1 now?
It's the battering ram's AP1 2 damage.
Oh, yeah, it used to just be a second power claw, I think.
Yeah, it's 2 attacks at AP1 2 damage, and the other one is 3 attacks at AP2 2 damage.
Okay.
And then commandos can't be overwatched, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sneaky gets no overwatch, which is it's been relevant multiple times. And then 1 squad of storm boys. And the synergy between the Mega Boss and the Mega Knobs is that the Mega Knobs have a 2-up armor save, and they always count as 10 models while they're with the boss. So they reroll 1s to save.
Seems good.
So also, Mega Knobs are infantry. So you can go to ground for cover, which is essentially like having AOC.
Which is a battle tactic.
Yeah, which is essentially AOC.
Yeah.
So you can like go to ground in the open and turn AP1 into 2-up saves and then re-rolling 1s. So if it's like AP1 or if it's not better than AP1, they're like just like on 2s re-rolling 1s, which is hilarious, especially when it's into a 4-up Field of Pain. And then sometimes just make a bunch of 5-up invuls during the watch turn, roll a bunch of 1s and re-roll those 1s into 5s, and then a couple guys go through and then they get Field of Pain, and you just take like a whole Land Raider to the face and no damage, which is demoralizing to say the least.
Wow. I could never have guessed we'd be talking about Mega Knobs 3 months ago. I mean,
it's a brave new world, Joe.
It is. So the list is super cool. It plays basically like we were talking about. Like it basically just chokes you out. So like Nick picked up 40 boys on turn 1, right? When I played him. And so I still had 70 boys left. And I still just like took out his main resources that could kill boys, flooded the table. And then like because primary, it was like up by 35 points. It was like a 35-point lead on turn 3.
Wow.
Yeah, between sticky objectives on the boys now, because that's the new data sheet ability they have. And then also just like it scores secondary really easy because it can jump over here. It's got storm boys for fast movement. It can cleanse in combat because they all have pistols. So it just like spreads out. And it's not really very easy to like hem me in my deployment zone because since I have tank shock off of the battle wagon, grenade, and a bomb squig, I can punch holes in the screens and then charge through the screens with a 32 millimeter bases, come around the other side, hit everything that can get in base, and then everything else just goes its full charge distance, like across the, like full moves. Mm-hmm. So it's like and it's all infantry, so it like just like weeds through all the terrain and shit, doesn't really care. It only hits hard during the watch.
Yep.
That's fair.
Like
timing seems like an important thing with this.
It's straight 4 AP1. Like basically every game I've played so far, other than one, I cleared the wall on turn 2. And then on that turn, I pick up like 5 or 6 units worth of stuff and kill a whole bunch of things. And then they have not enough tools to kill me back. And then we just kind of grind for a few turns, and I'm sticky all the objectives on the table but one, basically. And then like my primary is like, I get to like a 90, and then it's out of mathematical capability. It is clock intensive, so I've been playing all my games on 2.5 hour rounds, and been coming in pretty tight on time, but still completing.
Yeah.
And so that's with 2.5 hours. So like 3 hours will be totally gravy.
That's pretty slick. That's a good move.
Yeah.
Shortening your clock. Yep.
I also like, so the other thing is like this army really only deploys it has 3 deployment patterns, and they really only are determined by the terrain. Like I don't care what I'm playing against. Like I'm just going to deploy the same way almost every time. If I'm deploying against something that's like really aggressive, I'll probably like screen with a truck and a wagon and like 1 squad of boys, which will cover my whole front, which means they'll get 1 squad of boys and 2 vehicles at most. Right. And then they just get clapped back by everything. The only time I've played this list so far where I called WA on turn 1 was when I knew I was getting first turn Wolf Jail assaulted. So I just declared the WA, I got assaulted, and the next turn I picked up all but 2 Thunderwolves and Logan.
Wow. On his sleigh?
What?
On his Santa sleigh?
Yeah, Logan was alive and 2 Thunderwolves.
Wow.
I killed everything else, and the Vindicators were alive in the back, and like some backfield elements. But I killed all of the aggressive things, and I lost like 40 boys to the Thunderwolf charge. We got a whole squad of 20, green squad down to 10, and then a purple squad down to 2. So yeah, like 40 boys. But then I healed a bunch of boys back. I healed like 9 boys back, and then I just like charged with everything and punched everything to death.
Damn.
Wolves are really good against the list. I'm really worried about Death Guard. I'm very concerned about Sisters. And then Linton Rowan is an excellent player who's playing a list that has a really good shot into he's playing the Wolf Jail list. And he's playing Triple Vindicator, which is really good. I'm not very scared of Power Armor for the most part. I've played the Black Templar matchup a bunch of times. I know the Blood Angel matchup is really hard, so I'm kind of scary about Blood Angels.
Yeah, the speed. I think that's one where going first is going to be a big deal.
Well, I kind of actually think I want them to go first most of the time.
Yeah.
Because what I think I want to do is truck, wagon, 20 boys, and just like make a front, and then receive them on truck, wagon, 20 boys.
Yeah.
And then charge them with everything else, because they'll like fight on death and like be able to swing back they'll get get an activation out of their guys, but like everything in their army dies to 20 boys.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited to play it. It's painted up pretty. It's pretty now, so it's gonna be fun. It's a really fun playing orcs is really fun. I also like that I can just like lose a lot of resources and still be like in the game. Yeah, especially when I have like 20 points. I have like 20 boys in a wagon, and like they pick up like 40 boys, and I'm like, oh fuck, like oh shit, I still have 20 boys in the wagon. Though I have had to realize that I cannot crowd things around my battle wagon. I've almost gotten myself in a real bad spot a couple times.
Oh yeah.
So I've now like measured the buffer around the like where do I get out?
Pre-measuring is important, ladies and gentlemen.
Especially for mega nabs on 40 millimeter bases.
No, they're in the truck, but yeah, the truck is
truck.
Yeah, they're in the truck, and the 20 boys are in the wagon.
Oh, okay.
20 boys with the boss with the strength 14 claw. So they get out. So like usually what happens is turn 1, that thing advances and goes like 13 inches somewhere and stages up like at the top. Basically, this is like every game I play. Anyone who's going to be at Storm, here's how I play. The Mega Knobs go low. The wagon goes high. Everything else goes up the middle and screens out the sides. That's on turn 1. And then turn 2, I call the WA. The guys get out 3, move 6, advance say 3, that's 12 inches, and then bang a 7-inch charge. That's 19 inches after already going 13 inches the turn before. Out of the wagon, the Mega Knobs do the same thing, except the 1 inch shorter off of the truck. And then everything else charges everything else that it can touch on turn 2. And I just kind of like tentacle the whole table. and then we just grind it out. And if I go first, it's really, really bad for most opponents. And if I go second, it's better for them because I only get like one really strong Watch turn. If I go first, like I get the Watch turn and I get their turn.
When you're Watt out. Yeah, I feel like going second against you would be pretty intimidating because you take up so much real estate. Like,
well, if you don't have Infiltrator, if you don't have like 12-inch screen outs too, the jump is brutal.
I was reading the jump. It doesn't say in your reinforcement phase, so I don't think 12-inch screen outs actually screen them out.
What?
Yeah, it happens in the shooting phase. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
No.
I'm pretty sure that you can just go with an enemy. I would love to be wrong, because
I'm reading this now. Then we can do our wrap up, but I'm reading this now. It says, once per turn at the end of the movement phase, one weird boy from your army can use this ability. If it does, roll 1d6. On a 1, that weird boy suffers d6 mortal wounds. On 2+, remove the weird boy unit from the battlefield. Set it again anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches horizontally from all enemy models.
Okay.
It's a setup, so it should trigger Overwatch. It's not in the movement. I mean, it is in the movement phase. It does say reinforcement step, but what does Infiltrator say? I think Infiltrator says setup, right?
I'm looking. Bear with me.
I don't think I would personally angle shoot it that way. I think I would probably count it as being screened out.
I mean, words matter. I like, this is against my best interest, and I don't think you're angle shooting.
That's fair.
Because, like, there are abilities that don't work the way that you want them to work in your heart.
I'm pulling it up.
It says enemy units that are set up on the battlefield from reserves cannot be set up within 12 inches.
Okay, so I guess I'm just going to need a judge ruling because it doesn't say they put them in reserves.
I don't even think you do. I think they just
It's kind of... Isn't it kind of like the Grey Knights dude who runs away when you shoot him? He like immediately redeploys, right?
Yeah, and that.
No, he goes into reserve. Oh no, there's the one that can reposition. There's a Mrs. Damos that puts you in reserve.
Yeah, but there's the enhancement on a character that
that guy just works.
Sigil.
Yeah,
Sigil just
isn't that's basically what this is, right?
And he can come within 9, from my understanding.
Because it just happens in the same phase.
So that's actually just like, if that's true, that's just like incredibly brutal. Because getting to jump to turn 1 is like, I mean, obviously you have ways to mess up charges, but getting to jump turn 1 is like, horrific.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I'd be able to pull it off against you though. I think you'd be able to do. I mean, you have to do a D6 move, and then I get to roll the charge and whatever.
It's a D6 if you're charging something that's not scouts or infiltrators. Then it's just 6.
Yeah, and you're smart enough that you wouldn't give me charges.
Correct. It would be a trap.
It would be a trap. I think for you, the jump is for the later in the game because you can also
when
jump.
When I start losing some of that trash is when you do it.
Oh yeah, that's Tommy from our team. I played him in RTT. He was playing Chaos Knights. He's just gotten jumped. Turn 1 wasn't cool.
Yeah. Tommy, that feels uncool.
I failed to kill a carnivore. I got a carnivore to 1 wound.
Damn.
But then I did like muddle up his whole side of the table. Works. All right, man. So it's gonna be fun. If you see us at Storm, if you're listening, you see us at Storm, come say hi. If you're at Rocky Top and you see this beautiful Joe, come say hi to Joe. And then Joe, on our next show, we'll talk about how you did Rocky Top.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See ya. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thanks, y'all. Ciao.